Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's live stream AMA. There is some music playing behind me, so hopefully it's not too loud. But excited to hang out with you guys this week. Have a good time together. Hold on, I'm literally like I can't. This music is my ADHD like can't handle like the all of the inputs. Okay. Um yeah, we're gonna just chill. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna talk about Pixel. I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys. I've actually took a couple days off, like Monday, Tuesday. So this is my first day back this week. So I need to catch up on the St. Patrick's Day event that's been going on. So I might like learn all of that and dive right in. And you can't hear the music. Fabulous, because it is really overstimulating me right now. But the Wi-Fi in my room is atrocious, so we're out here sweating. Um, and yeah, okay, so we're gonna go through that. And I'm being harassed with messages too. It's just one of those days, guys. If any of you have ADHD in the chat, you know there's too many inputs going on right now, but we're gonna have a great time together. And okay, so I'm gonna play the game a little bit. Luke is going to hop on soon, answer some questions about Stacked, and yeah, we're gonna have fun together. I see some questions in the chat. Um, where am I? I'm not going to say which country I'm in, but I'm in a country that I am sweating in. So you can assume I am south from San Francisco last week. Um, yeah. Um, okay. Okay. Let's dive in. Let's play because I honestly have not even read, well, I read the announcement, but like an earlier version of it. I didn't end up reading the one that actually launched. So let's dive in. Let's play it together. Okay. New event, Seamus. Seamus is shameful St. Patrick's. Track down. Okay, so I saw this word so many times in chat, and I was always like, how the heck? Oh, it doesn't really work when Luke is in here. Okay, hold on. I never know which one is better. Oh, oh, no, 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 no. Let's just keep it at that. Never knew how to say that word. Mischievicons. Mischievicons. I guess that's it. I feel like I nailed that one actually, unlike the other one. What was the other one that I could not say? Um, the potions. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it again. Okay, how many of you guys in chat have done this quest already? I think it's like a daily thing, right? So I feel like I already missed out on a couple days. So can I even do it? Wait, see, I'm learning with you. Okay. Track down the mischievicons. Mischievicons. Seamus has descended upon Terravilla and unleashed his three mischievicons to ransack the land. Oh no. It's up to you to track them down and stop them. I assume it's these little guys. And this is Seamus. Your mission: locate the mischievicons, collect the golden clover seeds. Oh, we got golden clovers this year. Nice. And craft one thing that will stop them. How to play. Find Seamus in Terravilla and talk to him to start the quest. Okay, let's do that. I wish I could like share two screens at once. That would be ideal. Am I on vacation? I'm working. Can you not see? I'm live streaming. Um, kind of. I took a couple days off because I have a friend that lives here, so I spent some time with them. But now I'm working and sweating. I can still get second day's reward. Okay. Okay. Is energy not? Is there not popcorn? Is there not popcorn? There is popcorn. You're lying to me. Where's Luke? Luke is flooding my DMs right now, but he's busy working on something quickly, but he'll be here in a second. But either way, we're gonna do this quest. Okay, so find Seamus in Terravilla and talk to him, start to kind of hunt down the three. Oh, and they move. Okay, yes, I was told this is similar to what were those like snail moki things called? I'm totally blanking. Okay, collect the seeds, plant and harvest them, craft. We got this. We got this. Let's dive in here. What is this? Is this a store? Ooh, what does it look like though? St. Patrick's Pixel sign. Oh, it's here. Oh, that's cute. I feel like green isn't my vibe though. Like I need pink ones. Little gnome home. Okay, it's really cute. I assume it's literally this. That's really cute. I really like that. What else is there? The real pot of gold. Okay, I'm definitely buying this because I think it's really cute. Is this just an wait, I didn't even look at what it was. Is this just an object or do I need this for the quest? Oh, I like it. Yes, I can place things in Terrafilla. Are you jealous? Okay, wait, I really like that. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there so you guys can see it. Okay, looks like Luke is here. Oh my God, we're both outside. Look at us.
Yeah.
What's
Hey,
up?
how's my internet right now? I'll switch to another one, but if it's good, then we're good.
You are like pixelated, but I mean, that's almost a pun.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
It's funny. So I locked myself in a cabin. Um, yeah, I locked myself in a cabin to get ready for the release of Stacked. There's a few housekeeping things I want to go over today first, and I'll just address it like off the bat. Since Well, no, I'll go on the high level and then we'll go through like some of the housekeeping stuff too. So Stacked, we kind of announced it last week, right? And Stacked is something that we've been working on for the last basically year and a half. And what is Stacked? So Stacked is essentially a platform that turns any game into a play to earn game, right? And this kind of lines up with our thesis of Web3 gaming in general of how do you make a Web3 game work? How do you actually make ownership work inside of games? And how do you um, bring Web3 to more and more people, right? And as we've been building Pixels, we've been doing it in real time with all of you guys, right? We've found that when you start to add ownership layers into a game, whether you like it or not, your game becomes play to earn. So then what you have to do is you have to design around that, right? Now there's a few different models of play to earn gaming that people have kind of come to over the last 4 to 5 years of building a Web3. One of the ones that was most obvious that could work was risk to earn or prediction markets or things that had to do more with gambling, right? Now that's actually not a lane that Pixels wants to move into at all. We know, and you guys know, that there's alternatives to building out real money rewarded systems that don't involve gambling. And that's kind of what we're building here with Pixels. The key question that we're trying to solve is how do you actually give ownership into a game? How do you give rewards inside of the game? And do it in a way that is beneficial both to the player and to the game. And that's where Stack comes into play. Now, if you want to watch the last week's AMA, I actually think it was a treasure trove of information there. We just kind of laid out the entire plan. We showed the
totally.
product, and maybe we can do a quick demo again today on what it looks like. But yeah, we'll go through the high level just one more time. Stacked essentially is going to be three parts. It's going to be a new app that you can go out and download and basically collect some of your earnings. Essentially what it is it's just kind of a centralized place where every single game inside the Pixels ecosystem is going to show like what offers you can do, what missions you can do, and you'll be able to earn your rewards and also cash out there if you want, right? So essentially what we did was we took all the core tech inside of Pixels and we smushed it into one product where, we have the withdrawal deposit system inside of there. We have smart offers and it hooks up into the current system. So Heidi just brought up a list of new rewards and
Yeah.
missions inside of Pixels today. And how this system works is Stacked essentially is the app, an SDK, and like a business platform too, right? So the SDK, Pixels has already integrated it, right? And this is the same tech that other games will integrate. So essentially, all on the game side that they have to do is they have to integrate like it's not a big SDK. Like if you honestly had an LLM integrate it, it would probably take a team an hour or two to integrate. Essentially, how it works is the team has to um, basically just add event logging where they would normally be sending their events to something like Mixpanel or their analytics dashboard, right? Then we start to ingest that data and then we can start to give out rewards to players inside of the game based on different activity and different contributions that they might make to the game, right? Or
Yeah, like
contributions they
these
made to
ones.
other games as well. Exactly. So
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna try this one later. So going and playing some Neon Zone games. You can see they got a bit of a refresh. I think we're gonna refresh this UI a little bit more, but now all the colors indicate like what kind of thing you're doing. So like I believe it's like games, Neon Zone. This is obviously contracts is blue, like water. Bountiful, I think, is this green color, or maybe okay, I need to go ask what the the sorting is. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Um, Go off. I'm gonna keep trying to find
Nice.
these little weapons.
Um,
Oh my god, it moves so fast. Wait, what? How do I nice. I got
so
it. Okay.
when Stacked releases, we were shooting for a release this week. Let me give you guys an update on that. It will probably release next week. Basically, the tech is all ready. Now we're just kind of getting the last pieces of marketing ready. And honestly, I've been the main blocker with that. So apologies to everybody else. The dev team got everything ready with Stacked. It's ready to go. We could launch it today if we wanted to. But when we launch, we want people to know exactly what it is. We want like better marketing materials for you guys to share. So that's kind of the last piece of things that we're going to be prepping. So how the release and the rollout is going to work is essentially the web app will be released first. There are two versions of the app for iOS and Android that are going through Play Store and iOS review. So when those are done and reviewed, those will go live as well. And then you'll start to see consistent updates both on web, mobile, and Android, right? In addition, we'll be launching access to the SDK to more partners gradually. And I think today the AMA will be interesting to kind of go over like the business side. If you guys are interested, I can kind of explain to you guys what the next like 6 months at Pixels will look like as we have stacked out. Because the biggest priority was getting stacked out. And now we have some time to play and we have some time to kind of figure out like what we're going to be doing here, right? Do we really need to market stacked? There are many players already waiting. So the good news is for the players, one, stacked, you're already using it, right? And I'll kind of explain to you guys the high level strategy here on what we're thinking, what we're doing. So on the high level, essentially, what do we want to accomplish here at Pixels in the Pixel ecosystem and with the Pixel token, right? So what we want to do is we want to create a system that can grow, right? And we want to create a foundation that can grow in two main ways, with players and with revenue, right? Now, the Pixel Foundation has the goal of having play to earn reach as many people as possible. And you know what's very interesting, actually? There were like new SEC clarifications and regulations that were just announced in the last day or two. And there's some really interesting positive things here. So one of the things that was announced was that most cryptocurrencies, most NFT assets are not securities, which is great news because they're not, right? And what we're trying to do at Stacked here is we're trying to basically create a system where players and people contributing to the ecosystem have more stake inside of the ecosystem, right? So what that means is we want to create systems where if players are spending, if there are people staking the token, that they all are contributing and being rewarded for the contributions they make to the ecosystem. So what do we need to do to actually make that happen and make like meaningful rewards for contributors to the ecosystem, whether you're on the player side, on the staking side, on like the B2B side, right? Well, what we need is we need a product that's useful and a product that has a solid foundation. And now what a solid foundation means for us is business fundamentals. Can we grow users month on month? Honestly, month on month is not even the bar inside of um, inside of the current space right now. If you're like trying to build an AI company, like people are benchlining week on week growth, but like you need month on month growth on users and revenue, right? Now when the revenue comes into place, then things become a lot more interesting for the Pixels ecosystem, right? When the Pixel ecosystem as a whole is like profitable, able to maintain team, maintain ops, and maintain um, all the operations that it needs to do without relying on external fundraising, without relying on like tokens, then it becomes a much more interesting flywheel, right? And also we can start to introduce staking rewards that are not just in the native token, which becomes very interesting too. So that's what we're kind of trying to work towards. First, we need to build a revenue. We need to build a product first that can generate revenue consistently, that can be useful to other teams, that can grow DAU month on month, and we need to find ways to actually have that foundation support the rest of the ecosystem when it comes to growth, when it comes to supporting ops in long term, when it comes to supporting stakers and people contributing to the ecosystem. And that's what we're going to start to unlock when Stacked is out, right? So when we think about with Stacked, the product we have right now, what are our best paths of building out growing month on month revenue? Well, what does Stacked need to do in order to do that, right? And how does Stacked make money? So Stacked can make money in a few different ways, right? And there's a few different models that we're going to be testing out. And this will be the fun experimenting with all of you guys, right? So one, the most straightforward and easiest way for Stacked to make money is our first party games, right? So if Stacked is legitimately able to make pixels and Chubkins and any other Pixels ecosystem game more fun and the economics actually work and scale, then our best shot in one of the routes we're going to go down is basically just scaling our games. So making Pixels better, making Pixels have more DAU, and growing top line revenue on core Pixels, right? So actually, core Pixels in the game that you guys all know and love is key to this strategy. Because when you think about what our best shot of at getting more revenue quicker is it going to be selling this to businesses? Eventually, probably that'll be a good revenue stream for the Stacked and Pixel ecosystem. But in the short term, we already have products that work. The Pixel's economics are positive right now, and it's a really good shot for us to scale the tech and prove it out to other people. That also is going to time really well with the release of Chubkins, which is probably going to get its feature complete updates at the end of this month or early next month. And Chubkins will move into, out of kind of like a alpha phase, more into a beta phase, where we'll probably have like another month of work on it after that to kind of tweak monetization, tweak all of the like other end of the economics, and polish it up for a full release. But Chubkins soon is going to enter a new stage where it's going to start to grow as well too, right? So that's probably another really good shot at revenue too. So that's one way that Stacked can make money, right? Which is an important thing when we think about, how do we actually, support the token, the ecosystem, the foundation, all of that in the long run, right? So the other route that Stacked has at generating revenue is more on the B2B side, right? So what we've actually developed at Stacked is, I can confidently say, industry leading tech. And if you guys don't know, there's actually like Web 2 equivalents of Stacked out right now. Stacked is actually a much deeper platform. Like, we built the Web 2 equivalents of rewarded play and offer systems. Two that come to mind are Just Play and Missed Play, would be examples of like the Web 2 categories that we'd be competing with, right? Now, just on the baseline tech that we have, we showed off some of it last week. We're at parity, or if not like better in a lot of aspects of these platforms already, right? Because Pixels has actually been in a very unique position over the last few years of having a live rewarded play game where, if you ever look at Just Play or Misplay, or Adjo is another platform too, when you go and do rewards inside of those games, basically what they do is they'll give you rewards that you can't really easily cash out, or it's kind of impossible to actually do these rewards, right? Now, the interesting part about Pixels and Stacked is, we've actually created systems and models on the data side where we can still give normal players rewards for playing quite often, and we can actually make like a much better system than they can, where players actually get rewarded inside of Stacked for doing a lot of tasks that we would normally be doing, and Stack can still generate like a good economics for the game as well too. So it's a much better system, right? Instead of just being like, oh, if I reach level 1,000 after 50 days of playing the game, I get a $5 bonus. It's like, oh, first day I get into Stacked, I have tasks that I'm doing where I'm potentially earning, right? So that's kind of a difference, right? And it's really, really hard to pull that off. We've proved it with Pixels right now. The next stage is basically proving it with our other first-party games and bringing in more games into the ecosystem also. So the next stage of Stacked also will be partnering with other games and ecosystems to bring this tech to them as well too. And like going into that system, right? Now, Stacked is also a significant upgrade for actual companies integrating the tech too. And we showed off what we had last week. Maybe I'll demo it a little bit more again this week. But essentially, what we can do on Stacked is like there's kind of an AI agent orchestration layer on top of Stacked. And what we've been doing over the last year and a half is basically building out really good data science models that you can't really replicate. Um, and what these data science models do is they basically take all of the data we've learned, all the lessons that we've learned, and all of the like data science that we've done, and it allows agents to kind of use these tools to help analyze a game and also make live tweaks to a game too, in order to actually create offers that can target more players sufficiently and tweak them in real time. So one of the really hard parts about building something like Stacked is actually deciding who should earn what. So even if you have the tech that can kind of create the offers, can put them into the game, surface them with the right targeting, on the practical side of things, it's actually very difficult to manage that, right? And yeah, that's where Stack comes into play too. So we'll show that off a little bit today. So yeah, when it comes to actually getting in new partners into Stacked, somebody asked that question: how many partners are interested in Stacked? So the thing is with Stacked, inside of Web3 gaming, there's extreme interest in Stacked. But here's the thing. So when we think about what's actually going to move the needle for Stacked, and when we think about growing top line revenue, when we think about like growing player base, what is the best shot that Pixels has and the Pixel ecosystem has of growing sufficient revenue that's interesting to other people outside the Pixel ecosystem, right? Well, when we think about the current crop of games inside of Web3, there's some big issues with them right now. One is there's not many players inside of Web3 gaming, and there's not many, companies inside of Web3 gaming anymore either. And then the issue is even the current games inside of Web3 right now is there's really not many games that would, even if you like fix their economics, be sufficiently good partners to work with. One, because the game's maybe not high enough quality. Two, because the game hasn't ever figured out monetization. Now, these are games that we're still going to be working with. But like honestly, if I'm being blunt, they're not games that I'm like very rushed to be working with. When we release Stacked on the B2B side, we'll release the Stacked app first. This is how the rollout's going to kind of go. Stacked app for all of you guys will release first. Your current experience won't change that much in the beginning stages. There'll be a few other games you can work on, a few other offers, a few other like types of things, but kind of view the first release of Stacked when we release it to you guys, the players, as more of like just exactly what you guys are doing. Essentially, Stacked will still work inside of Pixels. So if you only play Pixels, you'll actually never have to interact with the Stacked app if you don't want to. But if you do want to interact with Stacked, you can. The web version, it'll be like a nice reminder and like a nice view, basically. Like if you were only a Pixels player, you can literally go into a Pixel specific dashboard inside of Stacked and just see all the stuff that you have to do in Pixels each day. But it's going to be pretty similar to your experience inside of the Pixels game, right? When Stacked launches, there really won't be cross game offers. So you'll only start to really see offers of games that you're playing or offers that you like kind of sign up for. So if you wanted to see Pixel Dungeons offers, if you connected your account, then you can do that. But in the beginning stages, if you're just a Pixels player and you're on the Stacked app, your experience will be pretty much the same. Yeah, somebody said for the player, this is a really good way to say it. Basically, Stacked for players, it's just a bridge for more opportunities for other games in Pixel. And yeah, that's kind of the right way to view it in the beginning stages, right? Like if you're just playing Pixels, your experience won't change that much. But if you're interested in earning rewards in other games, then Stacked might be something interesting to check out, right? So completely optional for players who only love Pixels. But as Stacked grows, and as you start playing more Pixels, honestly, think about it. If you're a good Pixels player, that's actually a very valuable thing to other games too, right? Other games will probably want to give you rewards specifically, like you, if you're a Pixels player, because yeah, like why not? One of the hard parts inside of Web3 gaming is figuring out who you should give rewards to, right? You don't want to give them the bots, right? And if you have a track record inside of Pixels, if you've been playing Pixels for a long time, then it's a pretty good tell that you guys are good quality pixel or good quality players, right? So that's when Stacked might be interesting to you, where it's like, okay, you can start to go and check that and you'll start to see like more offers there, right? Um, so yeah, when we think about scaling Stacked
Wait, did I
specifically,
just win?
rigged.
Did I not click that? Did I not click that? But it's saying I didn't. I'm
Oh, I think
confused. Did everyone not just see me click that corner?
well, you have a
Did I?
streak now. I think maybe you need to start again or something.
I'm confused. It said I won. Everyone said I won. Did I not? But there's no cash out.
Can
Hold
you click
on.
the claim?
Did I just win that? Oh my,
Okay, but to
oh
continue,
my
so
God.
let's talk about the business side then. So for Stacked, right? Again, our goal is to like basically get more
Let's go.
users and revenue. So what are the most straightforward ways to do that? Well, again, it's growing your own games, or it's going to be partnering with other games too. When we talk about partnering with other games, again, the opportunities inside of the Web3 space right now are not so big, even though that's where we have the highest trust inside of the ecosystem. Really, the goal should be if we want to bring Stacked, um, if we want to build out use cases for Stacked, we should try to partner with games that have sufficient DAU and sufficient revenue already that we can help boost. So kind of the plan for the next month or two will be, launch Stacked in Pixels and Chubkins and like grow the user base that way. And then see what other partners come opportunistically. There will be a few partners at launch, things like some chains, all of that. Um,
Sorry, did you know pixels is die? Pixel is die. Yeah.
so yeah, let
Uh,
me just show you guys what the Stack platform looks like one more time on
anyways,
the
guys,
B2B side.
sorry, I think
So
I was delayed as hell. Keep going.
maybe let me bring you guys back to the Pixels side of things too, or the Stack side of things as well. Let me see if this build works. Oh heck yeah. Okay, so again, what Stacked is on the business side is it's a crazy tech stack essentially. So it's all the stuff that you guys see. It's like the consumer side. It's also kind of turned into almost like an AI game economist as well. Where because Stacked is built on top of our tooling layer, where there's a ton of data models, a ton of data science, data ingestion, all of this. What it can also do is, yeah, it can help create new offers. Like say, can you help me create new offers for players just starting the game? It'll think for a little bit. Comes up with a plan. We run the plan. And essentially, you'll see what it does in real time here. Essentially, what it does is it will look at like a bunch of player behavior inside of the game. See, it'll like look at all of our offers. It'll look at like pixel behavior. And then eventually it'll come up with different ways to kind of like help reward players based on all these like tools that we have, right? Now the interesting part of Stacked that will get unlocked after we release the first version of the business side is essentially almost like an autopilot. So essentially what Stack can do next is it'll kind of take a look at every single game every day. It'll analyze, how its offer portfolio is doing, and it's able to make live tweaks to the offer portfolios every single day. So essentially it's like, okay, Stack created this offer to help retain players who are, very good players. But that offer that it created wasn't really converting, right? Like maybe it set the reward too high. Maybe it was like an impossible task. It can take a look and see how the offer is performing and then actually make a tweak to it where it's like, okay, say that we created a new player offer, or say that we created an offer for players who are, the most engaged players inside of the game. It says there's an offer to go do Neon Zone. If you do like this Neon Zone thing, it gives you a reward of like 1,000 coins. it could see that that 1,000 reward coin offer is not really doing so well. What it can do is it can go make a tweak and like, you know, increase that reward to um, to that particular offer. And this is, yeah, this is a really important part. So this is where the system differs from other stuff too. So we're not the first team to go out and make a quest board inside of Web3, right? But this isn't a quest board. This is a personalized quest board that basically gives out tasks to individual users based on the way that they've been playing the game, right? And it'll kind of even long run give different reward amounts, give like different types of offers to different players so that it's more personalized and actually more effective, right? When you think about this, it's actually kind of like I like to think about things like this in terms of efficiency, like my economic brain turns on. And what you want to do in order to create a good system is you want offer and reward efficiency, right? We've been talking about this metric a long time called return on reward spend. And what return on reward spend is really a measure of efficiency of the amount of rewards that you give out inside of a system every single week, right? Or every single day or every single month. And why efficiency of rewards matters is for you guys, the players. The most inefficient way to create rewards is when you give rewards to bots, right? When you give a ton of rewards to bots or people who are like not very helpful to the ecosystem, that means there's less rewards to give out to the real players who are, you know, high quality inside of the game and ecosystem, right? And that's where a lot of quest platforms, play to earn platforms fail. They're not able to give out the right rewards to the right people. And if you aren't able to do that, then everybody has a bad experience. The games don't really monetize that well, and the users don't get rewarded well. And that's kind of this whole system here. So, yeah, you can see the system just spit out like 3 recommended offers. So this would be an offer to reward 5 Grainbow seeds to a new player right after they harvest 10 pop berries and 10 Grainbow. I actually think Grainbow, that one might need some tweaking. This one would give a big coin boost to a new player if they complete 3 task board tasks. This would give a small Quicksilver pack to users too. And that's kind of the whole thing here. It's crazy. And what's cool about this is it can also do like some pretty interesting analyses on users too. Like, for example, you can use this as a data scientist too. Like, why are users typically dropping off in pixels after 3 days? What makes them not retain? Is there any type of gameplay that users who stay in pixels the first 3 after 3 days do differently? Mike McIntosh is very passionate about this question. Fix what you have instead of making new. So this is the fix. This is kind of the point. So one of the things that we're going to be working on soon is transitioning away from the task board into more of the system. So, you know, as we have stacked out, what's really amazing is this will kind of be the way that we can help replace the current task board system with something new. And what you'll probably start to see over the next month or so, once we have stacked out and live for you guys, is you'll probably start to see that the task board will transition and have more tasks inside of stacked than just the task board. What about giving pixel rewards to those who can reach high levels? With that, players will be more active inside the game instead of just hanging. For example, 100 pixels weekly for reaching 100 levels. So stuff like that is definitely part of a system. When you think about what is good for the game and for the player, a lot of what we're focused on is, you know, when you think about a game's, you know, economics, there's a couple different things to think about. One is user retention is the most important thing, actually. If you have a game that isn't able to keep players inside of the game, the game won't ever work, right? So actually creating a lot of incentives for players to continue playing the game is actually very important, right? And that's what the system can do magically, right? Like we've seen this in Pixels historically, right? Like Pixels actually has amazing day 180, day 365 retention, like best in class. To have people play a game for years is a rare thing in games like this, especially in like casual mid-core games, especially in like, the type of game like this. And the fact that Pixels has such an active community that's been playing for years, like I think Zombina made a post that she hit her 3-year anniversary, right? It's actually very unique and one of the best parts about building out the system and like building out play to earn, right? So we need to sufficiently take advantage of that and make sure that there are even more rewards that incentivize this. And that's kind of the point of the system. Now we can actually much more easily create systems and rewards for players across everything. One of the hardest parts about the offer system inside the Pixels right now previously was getting an inventory of offers, which basically means like actually creating the offers. It's not always so easy, even if you really know the game, to be able to do this. Why? Well, because in order to create new rewards inside of a game, you need intimate knowledge of the game and you need to kind of be a data scientist and you need to be a game economist, right? Like it's really, really hard. And our team struggled with it sometimes, but when we went to other teams and we're trying to help them do play to earn, I'm talking even like inside the Pixels ecosystem, with games like Forgotten Universe, with games like Dungeons. What you'll see is small teams who are good at building games, they fall flat on their faces when it comes to reward design because that's such a unique skill set and such a hard thing to do. So this makes this so much easier because now teams can basically, even our own team, can focus on building the game and making the game better and not have to focus on building out rewards every single day, right? So maybe we can come back to this, or we can just see this running. Okay, so somebody said the way that Pixels is right now is not user friendly, to be honest. If you're a new player, it's hard to get resources and find things to do. Yeah, so here's the growth plan with Pixels. I am extremely bullish on scaling Pixels now. We've been in a phase for the last couple of years where the first thing that we needed to figure out was how do we actually make Pixels work economically? And what does that mean? Well, it means what we needed to do was we needed to figure out how to, one, make inside of the end game, and we needed to figure out how to make it work in a way that didn't like burn money basically. So the Pixel token has been amazing because it helped us bootstrap figuring out how to make rewarded play work, and this is why we have a big advantage over companies like Just Play or Misplay because we've been able to give out much more nuanced rewards than any of these companies would ever be able to experiment with because we had the token and we were able to give out tokens inside of the gameplay that were not profitable in beginning stages, right? Our return on reward spend back in 2024 was something like, nice, was something like, oh, here, let me remove this. This report just finished. So I asked this like AI data scientist that we had, why are users typically dropping off in Pixels after 3 days? What makes them not in? If you see, or if you guys could see, it ran like a bunch of different tool calls all around our models. So basically, it checked a bunch of like data models that we had. It checked like a bunch of stuff in like BigQuery, and it was able to kind of give an analysis on why users might not be retaining on day one, on day two, on day three. It's able to kind of go and analyze the differences between users who stayed inside of the game and users who weren't staying inside of the game, and we can actually use that as a follow-up to say, okay, well, given that information, how might we create rewards for the new users inside of the game? to keep them. But yeah, when it comes to actually like building out pixels and making it more user friendly, it's a combination of this. This is one piece, and it's also going to require some reworks inside of the core game to make it more user friendly to scale as well too. So here's the roadmap with core pixels. The first stage of core pixels is we're actually working on a really big update. I don't want to spoil what it is because it'll be announced pretty soon. That's more related towards the end gameplay. Essentially, we're adding new resources. It'll be similar. Ooh, excuse me. It'll be a similar scope to the animal care update. It's going to be a big update, actually. It's going to change the end gameplay a lot. We're wrapping that up. There's going to be maybe another feature with that too. And then we're also going to start working on more features that orient around the new game too, or new game, or sorry, beginning of the game too. So what we've been doing with Chubkins, and I know you guys don't always love when I talk about Chubkins, is we have been focusing a lot on the early funnel in Chubkins. And there's so many lessons that we've learned from Chubkins on how to actually advertise a play to earn game with paid ads and how to get them into the funnel, how to retain them. And these are all the methods that we're going to be doing for Core Pixels also. Core Pixels needs a little bit of work on the beginning gameplay in order to actually retain users as well. So it's a combination of rewards and actually changing some of the gameplay to make it make more sense. If you come into Pixels right now, it's not so obvious what you need to do. It's pretty confusing. Like, even when I was going through stuff recently and trying to figure out the animal care update, I was like, I don't really even know where to find myself some of the information as I'm trying to like learn this update. It's not so obvious, right? So there's big changes that need to be making. We need to be making inside of the core game too. When I talk about like 2 to 4 month roadmap for core pixels, essentially you're going to see a really big end game update, and you're going to see beginning game updates too. When the beginning game updates come, that's when we'll probably also start to scale paid ads into the core game also. We'll start to do like new user growth there. So that's kind of the idea there. So what can you expect from Stacked? So expect the announcement of Stacked next week. Yeah, I think I can confidently say that now. So we'll kind of, show off Stacked. We'll announce all this B2B side. We'll make like a big announcement video. You'll be able to go to the Stacked website and start using it if you want. And then we'll start opening it up to some teams as well. Now, how open we make the Stacked B2B side in the beginning stages is up for debate. We will probably open up the offer creation system. Because if you look in this B2B dashboard, basically, this is what the B2B experience looks like. You can create offers without any of the AI tooling if you want. This is what all the offers in Pixels kind of look like right now. You can create them. This will be opened up to basically everybody in the beginning stages, most likely. The AI agent tooling will probably have that be only turned on for select partners in the beginning stages. But you can integrate the Pixels SDK whenever you want. You can start experimenting with it as soon as you want. And it does work. It's a great tool. This AI layer is like what actually makes it usable for many people. And honestly, if you are a team that's interested in using it, or you have a game that you want to be using this for, just contact us. Like, honestly, send me a DM on Twitter or X, either to like my personal account at What's Luke Doing, or send it to the Pixels, Twitter account. Also, we'll be reading through all of these, and we'll be bringing on select partners for this in the beginning stages. And then we'll also start going on like, more like BD and sales kicks after this also. Now, somebody asked an interesting question. Somebody said, Stacked is in the early phase. Mind sharing your idea about Stacked in 2 to 4 months from now? So this is the fun part, finally. The main priority for the team is getting Stacked out, right? It's been something the team's been working on for a long time. And now that we have a product that's out and the foundation, the baseline, things get fun. So when you're building a product and you're looking for product market fit, you can't find product market fit if there's no product, right? you also need to know that there's a market too. But how startups work and how building great things work is it's always going to be, a zigzag to get there, right? So our first, thesis here is we're kind of marketing this more towards on the B2B side, right? And the idea, and like, here's the best case scenario. If Stacked went completely right, here's what would be happening. So we would have some case studies with our own games first, right? And what would be happening is one, Pixels would be scaling very rapidly. Chubkins would be scaling rapidly and the economics would be looking good. And Stacked would be the main contributor behind that, where it'd be compelling enough where, Web 2 games that are established would want to be using this also, right? And if everything went right, we would start to bring in bigger and bigger Web 2 games that add into the Stacked platform that give you offers inside of Web 2. And the cool thing is, if we have Web 2 games coming into this ecosystem, are they really Web 2 games anymore? Like we kind of turn them Web 3, right? Which is pretty interesting. So the Web 2 to Web 3 distinction, I don't really care about right now. What I care about is, are there quality games that we can add into the ecosystem that have sufficient users and sufficient revenue that can help the Stacked ecosystem, helps the Pixel token, and provide like meaningful revenue and users to the ecosystem also, right? Now, what we might find is there's really not enough games out there that would be worth bringing in. I don't think that's true. I think in Web3 that might be true. Where in Web3 there might not be sufficient games that would be able to utilize this tech. Even it's funny. I'm talking to I'm talking to basically everyone that still exists inside of Web3 on some level right now. Um, it's a funny spot the space is in right now, where a lot of the Web3 ecosystems just have no clue. Basically, I'm not bullish on many, to be honest. I'm excited about Ronin. But when I think about other chains that are doing things that are similar to Ronin, it's like, oh man, they have a long way to go until they're actually able to like be valuable to us even, right? Where it's like, okay, say that we wanted to work with another consumer chain. Like I never like to talk bad about other teams. But like say that we want to work with one of those recent chains that came out in the last like year, right? Some were pretty hyped about their TGE, like one ICO'd on Coinbase, right? And is there anyone actually inside that ecosystem now? Do they have any products? Do they have any games that we could work with? Probably not. So even if we did partner with like one of those teams that like recently TGE'd, for example, um, what do they have there that we can actually give rewarded offers for? There's really not much. So that's why the Web 2 play is more interesting and why, scaling your own games first is more interesting. Now, here's the issue with the B2B side. It's like, okay, that's going to take a little bit of time to get the sufficient revenue that we want because we need these proof points, right? There might be other interesting routes that we can go. And this is where the product market fit discovery comes into play and where the team can start grinding. Now, this is out where maybe what we'll find is like some of this AI tooling is actually the more useful part. Maybe people don't like the AI tooling. Maybe it's going to be like the rewarded offer part. And maybe we need to find like a new customer base also. There's something very, very interesting happening recently with AI assisted development that I'm watching and taking note of, where it's like, wow, it's so much easier to make a game now than it was 6 months ago, right? And I actually think when you think about building games, it's going to change so much in 2 years. And I think when you think about where you should be building and the market that you want to be building for, it is a useful thing to think about building for the markets that will be coming. And truthfully, if we want to build with yeah, exactly. So if we wanted to build for the future, like here's how I'm kind of thinking about things. I think the cost of building games is going to move towards zero, right? Now, that doesn't mean the cost of building a successful game will move to zero, right? But you will start to see a lot more indie development pop up. And I actually think it's going to be, I think a good analogy is like music, right? So music used to be a lot harder to make. You had to know how to play instruments. You had to know, you had to get like crazy studio time. And now anyone can kind of make music at home, right? Like you don't need to be as technical when it comes to making music as you had to 20, 40 years ago, right? And when I say technical, I mean like, you know, playing instruments, using tools. You still have to be creative. You have to have good taste. And you have to like learn some techniques when you're making good music, right? But what Spotify and a lot of the new tooling like Fruit Loop, FL Studio, for example, like people used to really, really hate on FL Studio with music creation because they were like, oh, it makes it too easy. You can just like loop stuff. But you saw a ton of like new artists and new types of music come out with like EDM, and like basically more people were able to make music. Same thing is going to happen with games, where honestly, somebody like you, a player who has a good idea, will probably be able to make something pretty cool and interesting soon. And how do we help support that type of builder? That might be an interesting way that we can take Stacked essentially. And actually, I see some users inside of the AMAs and like even inside the Pixels community kind of thinking the same way, where it's like, wait, I want to use Stacked. I want to make a game. And that actually might be the better route to go too. So this will be some of the play that we have when we start to like move Stacked forward. The tech that we have and the fundamentals are really, really solid. Now it's like, how do we take this and like use it for the right market? Because we have the product. Now we're gonna have to build for the right market. But that's gonna be the next stages, basically.
I just came across this tweet when I was on like, you get it. I just commented, you get it. You can now get rewards for leveling up, right? Which is really awesome because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people just like genuinely want to level up over time. And then now you get stacked rewards for it. We
Are
love
you
it.
still building mobile native? So I'm actually the most bullish on mobile native now. It's funny because we've been obviously I'm like super bullish on browser games. Like there are a ton of advantages to having a browser game, but I still really like mobile native. Here's why I like mobile gaming a little bit better than browser gaming right now. It's purely from a growth and ads perspective, right? Where do you normally see ads for mobile games, or like where do you normally see ads in general day to day, right? Like you're really everybody has ad blockers on a browser, right? Like I when I'm browsing the internet, I barely ever see ads, right? Which is not a problem, but it's like how do we actually grow our first party games then, right? Well, mobile UA is still very effective if you have a good game and if you have like good ads, right? And if we want to actually grow user base inside of Pixels and inside of Chubkins, all of that, we need to, we, not you guys, but we need to advertise on mobile, right? So that's where we can get a lot of users initially if we have good economics and if we have good ads and a good game. So that's why I kind of like mobile gaming for us right now. If we want to start to get more users and actually start to grow organically with new audiences, we are going to have to start running paid ads for our games, right? So that's why we're going to start to build out more mobile native in the short to medium term. Even though obviously I love Pixels being in browser, there's a lot of advantages to it. Um, Part of what made Web3 gaming better in a browser was all the crypto side of things. But with Stacked, now we can have rewards inside of the game on mobile native, and that's a big advantage, right? In Stacked, what's really cool is essentially you can play a mobile game and earn rewards and then either cash out in the Stacked app. So it's not a cash out in the mobile game. It allows the mobile game to kind of just be a mobile game. And then two, um, it allows for, actual like crypto cash out without like all the weird regulation that App Store has too. And also Stacked right now, it's going to start with crypto cash out. We'll also offer other ways to cash out soon, things like credit or things like gift cards, things like direct to PayPal. Those will be added inside of Stacked as Stacked continues to. So when it comes to the consumer version of Stacked, let me see if I can just pull up what Stacked looks like right now.
Guys, did I word it weirdly? I know you guys want to level up. That's the whole point. I'm sorry. And this one made me laugh. The only time my hair was ever the same color as Luke's was when I bleached it. Okay. He has the most blonde natural hair I've ever seen on a person. Oh, sorry. Were you trying to
Would
answer that one?
Stacked
Yeah.
what would Stack's stance be on partnering with casino-style games? So there is some legal here to think about. So Stacked still has to comply in the U.S. with um, like gambling regulation and stuff, right? Um, so if a game is labeled as gambling, then it becomes a little riskier for Stacked also. And truthfully, that might be something we avoid in the beginning stages for that reason too. So we do have to be careful for that reason in the beginning stages of like the games that we allow on Stack. That has to be slightly curated. If it's straight gambling, we actually probably don't want it on the Stack platform in the beginning stages. Now, you can still have rewards and leaderboards and tournaments, which actually fine is skill based. So if there's skill based, then it's not a risk to the Stack platform. If it's straight up casino, it adds a little bit of risk that I probably just don't want to deal with in the beginning stages, basically.
Okay, are you able to show stacked?
I think
Or do you want to hold
there might
off?
be, yeah, there might be an
You
auth
can hold up.
issue right now.
We can do it next.
Yeah.
We can do it next week. Keep you guys waiting.
I mean, you guys have all seen it though.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Oh, I think
we are.
I know the issue.
Hmm?
Oh yeah, there's a few other tiny housekeeping things that we need to go through.
Wait, what are the other ones? There's like. Can't I make it? Yeah.
Here, I'm logging
I
in.
thought there was one like fireworks. How do you do the fireworks one?
Stacked tokens move through games. So Stacked is funny because there's going to be. We've built this in a very robust way. Essentially, Stacked will be able to offer rewards for. Oh. Stacked will be able to offer rewards. Oh, that's a nice little touch. This smiley face. That's new. Stacked will be able to offer rewards in any currency. So it can offer rewards in coins. So like, soft currencies inside of games. It can offer rewards in any cryptocurrency. It can offer rewards in VPixel. And it can offer rewards in USDC. It can also offer rewards in like a new point system that we're going to be making inside of Stacked 2. When Stacked launches at first, it'll launch with just pixel rewards, right? And we're going to slowly start to transition and Stack to other types of rewards as well. Well, not just pixel rewards. They'll also offer in-game items and stuff too inside of the Pixels game, right? But they can support all of these. So one thing that we're going to probably start to experiment with soon too are points inside of this. And Stacked right now, there'll be a few games that come on to Stacked when it launches. There'll be content creation rewards. But yeah, basically the balance you'll get is pixel inside of the Stacked app. Oh, nice. But right now, Stacked is basically just like you earn rewards, you cash out in pixel. The next phase and like the next stuff that we're going to add inside of Stacked. Yes, Stacked can also reward in-game items. The next thing that we'll add inside of Stacked is 2 new features, most likely. We'll add leaderboards inside of Stacked so that we can start to transition more of the earnings inside of Pixels into Stacked. And then we'll also add a shop. So you can actually be able to spend things that you earn inside of Stacked directly in the app also. So you'll be able to buy like coin packs inside of Stacked if you want. You'll be able to buy other stuff also. And yeah. Okay, a few housekeeping things. There was a little mistake with the Pixel community treasury. That'll be restored ASAP. Yeah, somebody bridged the wrong thing transparently. So Pixel treasury for the community will be up there. Let's talk about community treasury too, because we talked about it in landowner AMAs a little bit. I don't think we talked about it on this. We're trying to figure out what makes sense for the community treasury in the long run. There's like, over 100 million tokens inside the community treasury, right? And here's the goal of the Pixel ecosystem, right? We basically, for the longest time, before we had the staking system out, anytime there was pixel spent inside of the game, it went to community treasury, right? I think it was like 80-20. 80% of pixel revenue went into community
Yeah.
treasury, 20% went in back into the ecosystem fund. That community treasury, I think, is very, very interesting. Here's my vision for this, right? Like, what's the community treasury supposed to do, right? Well, one, the community treasury is supposed to be owned by the community, right? And that's why we've kind of like left it there. But how do we actually give it out? And how do we actually manage this community treasury? And what's the best way to do that, right? There could be a few different ways. There was the idea of governance at one point, right? Which is still semi interesting, but we haven't really seen good governance models work inside of Web3. Here would be a bad example of governance. I actually think, not to like talk bad about any team, but they changed it. So I think it's okay to like talk about Ape. Ape had community governance around community treasury, and to be honest, it was so mismanaged. Like what you would see is you would see a lot of weird proposals that were really self-serving. Like somebody got a proposal passed in the Ape ecosystem where it's like, buy me a car and I'll wrap it in Bored Ape, and it passed, and this guy just bought himself a car with the community treasury. Basically, it's like, that's really silly, right? Like, is that actually helping the community? Probably not. But if you have enough popularity, then you can get something like that passed, right? The community treasury is on Ronin. There was a mistake. All the tokens will be there end of day today.
You're doing it right
And
now.
yeah, we were just like doing some house cleaning and like moving some things around. So yeah, where the community treasury might lie in the long run, Axie Infinity just did something interesting where they converted their community treasury into like an app token. That's something that could be interesting. I am more bullish on staking in the long run, to be completely honest. I think that staking and giving out staking rewards not in the native token is very, very interesting for users who participate in the ecosystem, and is probably better for the ecosystem than that. So here's the economics of what we're trying to do, basically. What we want to do is we want to create less sell pressure on the token and have the token be able to be used as a reward currency more, right? When we give out the token for staking rewards, what does it do? It just adds sell pressure onto the token every single month, right? The better situation would be if we could start to offer rewards that are generated through the economics of the game, which would be if we like switch the like main spend currency inside the Pixel ecosystem of USDC. A good example would be, okay, well, we have USDC and Foundation Treasury and all of this. We need to give out rewards to incentivize staking, because staking is a super important part of the protocol that we've built, and USDC would make the most sense there too. And how does that benefit then? Well, what benefits us there then is the rewards they're giving out through staking no longer add sell pressure to the token, right? So that's kind of the transition that we're going to be going to. Community treasury, here's what I honestly am interested in. Like, if we switched the community treasury to vPixel, then we can start distributing it to users inside the community. It doesn't add sell pressure to the token because you can still spend it, right? And you can stake it too. vPixel, how it works is it's spend and stake only. So that aligns longer term interest, right? Where if the ecosystem is able to have like a sufficient USDC stream coming in through in-game spend and rewards, then we can still incentivize staking through USDC without adding sell pressure. So to me, this is probably the most elegant way that we can transition community treasury and actually start distributing it back to the community, basically having it be in vPixel and then allowing the community to decide what to do with it. So what's interesting is, like, we actually have a lot of the infrastructure in place already. Our staking system does reward USDC. If you've been on-chain sleuthing, then you'll see that we've maybe even been testing USDC distributions with staking already, and it works, which is great. And then the other thing too is we have built a governance platform also that involves land and like token holdings as well. So that's all in the works. Um, here's the timeline and why that's been slowing down. We want to get USDC revenue into the flywheel first before we do all of this, and there were a few pieces that we have to do. One, stacked had to come out. So stacked is finally getting out. Two, we need to transition to USDC payments, or at least allowing other payments. This is more complicated on the core Pixel side than it will be on the Chubkins side. Chubkins only offers payments in App Store. So through Apple Pay, through in-app purchases, right? So that's a USD revenue stream coming into the ecosystem that can then be used for rewards that way. Why are you talking from the Amazon? Guys, I literally locked myself in a cabin for like the next week so I can get the stacked beats. Like I work very well when I have zero
I feel like I'm
distractions.
more Amazon.
Yeah, I work better when I have zero distractions. I'm like away from society. So yeah, I just locked myself in the cabin until we get all the stacked stuff out, basically.
So funny. Okay. Are you all done with everything you want to say? Because we need to end this off with a quick thing.
What's the quick thing?
I need to show them. We need to open my gotcha reward together. I'm not gonna do that without everyone watching. Okay. Actually, no, wait. There's one thing. I'm just gonna bring it up, but I'm not gonna make a comment. This and this together. Cool. Great. Okay. Let's open my gotcha box and then we can call it a day. Hold on. My entire StreamYard just shut down, which you probably noticed. So let me reshare. Okay, hold on. Where's my reward here? Okay. I don't even know what the rewards are. I have no idea what I can win. Oh, in mailbox because I have too much stuff in my inventory. Is this it? Or okay, I feel like I did not win something big here. It is what it is. I I literally nailed that that stacked offer in Neon Zone. So that's all we can ever ask for. All right. And with that, you are changing AMA times. No, this is our regular AMA time. We only changed it last week because we were both on the West Coast. Now we're not. All right. We'll be back at this time. Probably. I'm not going to promise, but probably this time from here on out until something happens. All right. With that, we'll talk to you. We'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.
All right. Thanks so much.